That original world always spoke to us. And so when we thought about what we'd really, really want to do next, it was, can you imagine if we got to do Fallout, you know? No one's been doing it for a long time. Is there any possibility? I can remember this coming back to my desk, and Todd Vaughn, our VP of development here at Bethesda, had left a yellow sticky note on my keyboard, and it said, Fallout's yours. That's all it said. I'll never forget that. I think I screamed and ran around the studio and like, hey, we're doing this. Because everyone had, you know, the team had heard about this might be a possibility, you know. It was fantastic. We're super, super excited.
It was a pretty big responsibility taking on such a beloved franchise, something that belonged to a different creative group. And frankly, I personally was pretty shocked at how well it was received. I think that speaks to how unique Fallout is, because even though it's a post-apocalyptic game, it's a dark world to spend time in. There's also so much character to it, and there's a quirkiness to it, an undertone of goofiness and humor that kind of lightens things a little bit, and I think people really sort of like that contrast.
The year that we showed Fallout 3 for the first time was actually the infamous E3 that was in Santa Monica. It wasn't in the convention center, it was at all the hotels in Santa Monica. And I remember Todd being really interested and wanting to talk to Tim Kaine and have Tim come out and see the game, because Tim was so influential in those first Fallout games. And we were like, you know, we need to make sure the Fallout guy likes the Fallout that we're making.
The previous games they're like of a previous generation, right? So they're isometric, they're turn-based, they're a fantastic, perfect version of that for the time period that they came out. And we felt what we really like about video games is being able to put you in that environment.
I kind of felt like my baby had been adopted by another family. And it wasn't so much that I didn't like the family, it's just my baby was gonna be raised differently than how I would raise this baby.
I remember this very vividly, sitting at a table, asking Tim Kaine what he thought of the demo. We just saw it, and the whole time, you know, you're just crossing fingers and toes like, oh, please don't let him hate it.
And I just watched entranced because I got to watch the opening cinematic and then some gameplay, and it was Fallout in first person, and it was mesmerizing. It was immersive. It was incredible. And I was like, even when I saw their VAT system, I'm like, that is what our called shot system would be like if you converted it to a first-person role-playing game. And it was great.
That was a big, like, watershed moment in some way. And wanting to do right by Fallout meant you go back to the folks who came up with this stuff and said, hey, here's what we're doing.
I especially loved when you actually got to leave the vault and the light came up and you saw the wasteland, and I was like, I'm seeing Fallout in 3D. It was an amazing experience for 2008. We
were fortunate when Fallout 3 came out that it did find a very, very large audience who really gravitated toward, oh, this is scratching that itch in an all new way, because look, you know, as technology and time moves on, you know, so do we, right? The way we view things, to have it really scratch that same itch the way something did in a previous generation, you often have to present that in all new ways.
So a lot changed between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. I mean, we had not just shipped to success with Fallout 3, but you know, Skyrim took the world by storm. And so as we were heading into Fallout 4, we knew we had to deliver. You know, typically in the past, we would have a booth on the E3 floor, and we would build a little theater that sat, you know, 40 or so media and retailers. And Todd would do a demo every hour, on the hour, and we would fill the theater and people would exit. And they were long, long days.
The first person I pitched was Todd that said, you know, I have this idea about doing like a showcase.
And I remember Pete Hines telling me, like, what if I had you just give one presentation?
And instead of having to spend 3 days showing the same demo over and over, like,
sign me up, one presentation.
So you only have to do it one time, but you only get to do it one time.
But the one's gonna be on stage, the Dolby Theater. It's like, okay, I see what you did there.
You get the energy of the fans, but you also get, well, if I screw it up here, I screw it up forever. There is no, like, cut, let's do it again.
It was absolutely, absolutely terrifying.
I remember sitting in the Dolby Theater and just being like, one, it's the Dolby Theater, right? They do the Oscars here. This is legit, right? And just when Todd Howard walked out on stage and announced Fallout 4, the crowd went insane.
There are very few things as good as Fallout.
and half of them are all dressed up in cosplay. And it was really, truly in that moment sitting in the Dolby where I realized how important Fallout 3 had actually been.
When that last video played at the showcase, it was the most amazing feeling. You know, we had done it. It's hard to describe just how tight-knit this small team of people was pulling together to do great things. Like, it hits differently. I get a little emotional, actually, thinking about all the stuff that we did together. Yeah, no, it was an awesome time.
Fallout has more color disputes. What is the right blue of the vault suit? And you can ask Istvan about all of this. We will debate the blue of the vault suit, but nothing tops the green.
Yeah, I just remember Istvan and Todd having endless conversations about the color green.
What color green is the Pip-Boy screen?
Green is very important to Fallout because we decided that the Pip-Boy that you're wearing on your arm was going to be like your UI for the whole game.
So I would say it's like electric green, this, and then we would go through endless shades of green and debates of green.
It's like those old school green phosphorus type displays.
Istvan would change it in the middle of development, like, you changed the green. It's like, I don't even know how you could tell that.
And Todd would call out, it's like, I don't think that's the right green. I just take another look at it. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, it's so green. Like, you look at the HUD and you see a green HUD. Yeah, it's great. Everybody's like, looks good.
So we came up with something that was visually harmonious with that. When it came to Fallout 4, we decided to let's really sort of dial in that green. We really wanted that exact same green from visual games. It was really neon and bold. And as we're developing the game, of course, you keep tweaking numbers and can keep playing with things a little bit.
The amount of times we redid the color green, I think I lost count of.